Like they'll just get on their feed.
Well, I guarantee you that's the case with like the UFC, because I know for the UFC when they analyze the performance of a show, like how many people watched it on Paramount Plus versus how many people consumed it on TikTok, Instagram.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's many fold. It's like, you know, they get hundreds of millions of views on social media.
Yeah.
Of different, you know,
I haven't
different
watched
fights,
the fight live in a while, but like, you know, the White House one. I mean, I saw everything on my TikTok feed. I mean, I probably saw 150 clips of it, so I have like a relatively good grasp of what it looked like and what happened. But I didn't watch it live. You know, so.
If you wanted to watch that one live, really, you should have been there. Like, that was when you really absorb how bizarre it was to actually be at the White House. It was very bizarre. The whole thing was very surreal. Like, me and Daniel Cormier and John Anik, there were so many moments, like, the day before the event where we're rehearsing. Mm-hmm. So we're standing by the octagon. I made a video of it where I put it on DC. It's like, the White House. And, like, I'm showing the White House. There's the cage, and then the White House is right there.
Yeah, and the flyover and everything.
Nuts.
But see, that's how, when I was telling you about the Roman Coliseum before, that's how I felt.
Yes.
But I didn't get the, like...
Well, you know, they were going to do Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg in the Roman Coliseum, but it was going to cost $150 million just to secure the venue and set everything up.
I mean, I could have hooked him up.
Also, it would have been a terrible fight.
Elon would have been destroyed. It would have just been a clown
He thinks
show.
he's big, and so that's going to be enough. But Mark knows how to fight. Mark is like really into it. He trains all the time. I mean, he's obsessed. He brought this guy that I know, Dave Camarillo, who's a world-class coach, who's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, judo black belt, has been training him. Like, he's training with like hardcore people.
Well, because I don't think he'd care if I told the story. Like, the first time I talked to him years ago, like, you know, we just shooting the shit, chatting. And then, like, at the end of it, he's like, yeah, you want to come train MMA or whatever at my lake? And I was like, no, but I appreciate the offer. But it's just like instantly like that. I could tell that's like his way of like bonding and building friendships. And he just like, he was being very serious. Like, he wanted to roll it. I've never done that in my life. And I was like, I'm good,
he invited me to go bow hunting with him.
So it's definitely not fake. Like, that was a one-on-one conversation.
Oh, no.
I know you know that, but a lot of people think he's just like puts on the facade or stuff. But like, unironically, like our first time meeting, he's just like, yeah, let's hang out. Let's do like go roll on some mats and stuff. Like, he was being dead serious.
The way you could tell that it's not fake is watching him train. Because there's no way he could be that good if he's not actually putting in the time. Because I watch even his striking, his jiu-jitsu, all that stuff is like, it's clear. There's many hours been spent working on technique to achieve this level of proficiency. I mean, he doesn't look like a world champion or anything like that, but he looks like a guy who's training a lot. Yeah. You know, there's no way you can't be enthusiastic about it and be doing that. So he's definitely really into
every time I listen to whenever you have a podcast and you talk about the UFC and stuff like that, it always makes me like, I feel that masculine urge to like go train and do it, but it's like, I wish I could fork my life and have like one where I keep going down this path of just grinding 18 hours a day and building all these companies, and then another where I could like pursue fun stuff like that, and like, because that would be fun. Like
how old are you, Jimmy?
28.
Yeah, you're still so young. You could just do this for another 10 years and amass so much money that you could never spend it. And then 10 years from now, you know, just slack off a little bit on that and just go do a bunch of stuff. And not only that, you could create content doing a bunch of stuff. Like MrBeast discovers the world. Like, you could do anything, man.
Yeah, I think
you're so young. Like, you have so much time ahead of you.
Yeah, it's hard to even. I think you like, as humans, we like build the patterns and stuff. And I've been working so many hours every day for so long that it's like like literally like ingrained in me that it's hard to ever really imagine a world where like it shuts off, because you have to think like I started when I was 11. So basically now all I really do is just, you know, work, whether it's building companies or making content. And like another 10 years from now, that would be like essentially 20 years straight of like training my nervous system of like, this is what you do all day, every day, like constantly being war mode obsessed with it. So it's hard to envision a world where I could ever shut it off. But
you know what's interesting? You and I have been doing it about the same time. Like, we started this podcast around 17 years ago.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it'll be 17 years in December? I think so, right? I think in this December it's 17 years. So it's basically, we've been on these parallel paths.
Which is crazy. You know what would be funny? Is if like envision like 17 years ago, you had 11-year-old me sitting here and then you sitting there and like comped it to today.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. So AI is not going to do that.
So what are you going to do? You're going to do a show on YouTube? Where'd you get this idea?
YouTube.
Did your mom know about this?
Should you be in school? I'd be like, I don't know, such a like.
How many hours a day do you spend waking on content? Hey man, go outside.
Yeah. Go talk to a woman. I mean, back then too, I was so like introverted and self-conscious. Like, I probably wouldn't have said anything. I would have been like, you know, because you have to kind of be a little. It's interesting too, because it's like very accepted to be a content creator. It's like cool. People love it. It's like even
now.
parents now like, they're like, do it. And they realize that while being a content creator, you learn a lot of different skill sets and it teaches self-agency, et cetera. But back then, I mean, it was like, you're batshit crazy, very frowned upon. And like, so it's so funny to see how that changes because like, it's the number one most coveted job in America right now. Like if you were to go survey like 100 random teenagers, a lot of them, a good chunk of them would say they want to be a content creator. Maybe not specifically a YouTuber, but between TikTok, Instagram, influencer, like, like, and so.
It's probably the number one job that kids want.
It is, factually, yes. And so, but, when I was coming up, heck no. It's like, what are you, a weirdo? That's not a job. Like, YouTubers don't even make money. How are you going to make money? You're going to be homeless.
Yeah.
And so it's so funny to see how it changes.
Well, the same thing with podcasts.
True.
Back then, I would tell people I'm doing a podcast, and they would be sad. Like, oh, poor guy. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Used to be on TV. You're like, oh, I'm having fun.
You've fallen from grace. And it's so interesting, too, to see, like, as like YouTubers and stuff first started getting big, like, they all use it as launch pads to jump to Hollywood. And then it's like the ones like me who are just like, who really cares? Like just stay over here and focus on YouTube are the ones that are the biggest and like just believed in the future.
This is the same as podcasts as well, because there's a lot of people that started off podcasts and then their podcast got a little bit of popularity and they went and did a show somewhere.
Yeah.
And it sort of stalled them out in the podcast world.
Exactly.
Because now you're working for the man, air quotes, and you're working for some studio or something like that.
And split time and you're not as passionate and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and it's something I think about too, which is a message I feel like a lot of people need to hear because a lot of people don't realize that not everyone can make tens of millions of dollars or maybe be as successful as like you or I can. But I do believe most people, if they, find something they like, put in a lot of hours, like a ridiculous amount of hours, consume, basically everything's available on the internet now, consume all knowledge available on how to be good at certain thing and then, do 1,000 iterations on it, then they can come out the other side and do it for a living. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like but most people aren't exposed to that kind of, to be honest, rhetoric. Like they think still, their parents went to college, got a degree, that's how you get a job. And so a lot of people today, because obviously your parents educate you and teach you a lot of these things, and I'm not saying college is bad, just think it's the same pathway, and then they get in a lot of debt, and they don't fully realize that, if you just like, so there are like, certain content creators that might blow up in 2 years, and there are others like me that take 10 years, and it's just like a distribution chart, and probably the average is somewhere in the middle, and you just have to like, there's no like set time frame you can give yourself. But if you're surrounded with other people obsessed with the certain thing you're obsessed over, whatever it is, you put in 10,000 hours, and in those 10,000 hours you do 1,000 iterations, and you consume all knowledge available on it. It's like, the better you do it, the further to the right, like the 2-year mark you'd be of being able to do it for a career. But sometimes it will take longer, and you just have to give yourself enough time in it, but eventually you can make it happen. And I think that just more young people need to hear that, really, because they just don't even really, the dots don't connect in their mind that that's really even an option, right? Like,
well, it's a completely new career path, right? And the only way that people really can get a map of the territory is from someone like you, who's gone through the very early days of it, and they could show, hey, not only is this guy successful, he's fucking hyper successful. Like, this is not a dream. Like, this is a possibility. You just have to figure out your version of what he did, and it's a process.
But I would argue it's not even just for content creation. Like, if you wanted to be an accountant or really anything, it's like, just put in a lot of hours, do a lot of iterations, surround yourself with great people, and obsess over it. Stay focused, consume it, and then recognize, like, you might be like, oh, well, this person did it in 10 months. Why is it taking me so long? It's average and statistics, and just give yourself enough time frame. And like, it's hard to, again, I'm not saying you'll make tens of millions of dollars, but if you want to do that thing for a living, if you follow those traits, like it's going to happen eventually. Because
you have to be process oriented, not goal oriented. The process is getting better at stuff. The goal of being financially secure comes with it. Eventually, but if you think I want X amount of money, well, that's what you're going to think about. You're not going to think about the actual thing you're making, so it won't be as good. So you'll probably never get there.
Bingo.
Yeah. And this is one of the cool things about owning a comedy club is that we've set up the club so there's a real path. Like, these people understand how you can become a professional. Yeah. Because becoming a professional when I first started was this very vague, weird thing. Like, no one knew how it was done. Yeah. Like, you went to open mic nights, you did open mic night. How do I get paid? How do I ever be a professional? Yeah. Someone has to ask you to go with them on the road, and then you wind up getting mentored by another comedian, which is nice because they usually need opening acts, and that's kind of how we did it. But what we set up at the comedy club, we have a real creative director, this guy Adam Egid, who is the creative director at the Comedy Store, the talent coordinator. Mm-hmm. He watches all the open micers, and he finds people that are good. We have 2 nights of open mic nights, and then we have Kill Tony. So we have Kill Tony, the show, which is every Monday, where these people pull a random name out of a bucket, and you have a chance to go
phenomenal show. If people don't watch it, it's hilarious.
The best fucking show ever.
Yeah.
And these people get to do 1 minute of stand-up, and if it blows up and they do well, they get to come back. And if they get to come back, then all of a sudden millions of people have seen them do stand-up, and now they're selling out comedy clubs, and they have real careers. And some of these people were just grinding it out. And, you know, my friend Dedrick Flynn, he was out in Atlanta doing it, and my friend Ari Matty was in Estonia, and they went to Australia for 10 years, just grinding, trying to make it in comedy. Gets on Kill Tony, boom, now he has a career. It's incredible.
And I don't recognize those names, but like as me, a case study, right? If they're doing stuff in Estonia or other, I never would see it. But if they're on Kill Tony, I'll see it. Right?
Exactly.
And there are millions of people like me that we're not like, we're casual comedy watchers, right? I don't, you know, maybe I'll watch a Netflix special here or there, and I watch Kill Tony. And so like, if you don't exist in one of those two things, you just don't exist in my world. And there's so many people like me.
There's a lot of people now like that, particularly. And we wanted to set up a network. We wanted to set up like a real pathway where these people you can see, hey, other people like Cam Patterson. He was a doorman at the Comedy Store, and now he's on Saturday Night Live, or doorman at the Mothership rather, and now he's on Saturday Night Live. He started out at the Mothership, and he was working there as an employee.
And he's funny, and
he's
I know
amazing.
who he is.
He's amazing.
Because of Kill Tony.
Yes, because of Kill Tony.
Exactly.
But there's multiple versions of that now that are coming out of the club, and so we wanted to set it up like that. So you still have to do all the work, but we want to like illuminate the pathway.
Exactly.
Like there's a clear pathway.
Well, because it's different skill sets, right? Like being able to get attention and get in front of people might be a different skill set than being funny and being able to make them laugh and, you know, the things that make a great comic. And so it also makes it a little straightforward for people who might be just world-class in comics, but they don't know how to scrounge up enough money to travel the world and do all these things and smart enough to figure it out. And so like handling that part, because at the end of the day, like as a viewer, I just want to watch funny people, right? You
There's
know?
also, you have to be able to see other people who have done it already and how they did it. So because of a guy like Cam Patterson goes from being a doorman at the Mothership to now being on SNL, people see it and they go, it can be done. What did he do? Well, he kept killing every time he got on stage. So that's what I got to do. Exactly. I got to work on my set, really grind it out. And I was with this guy 3 years ago, and now this guy is rich and he's famous. Like, this is amazing. He was poor just like me, like literally working for,
I'm sure you pay well, but
yeah, but I mean, doing road gigs and doing whatever you can. Guys are barely getting by, but that's the key. It's like you got to know that it's possible.
Yeah.
And before someone like you became, a real content creator, but imagine just trying to explain to someone what your YouTube show, what your goal was. Imagine this. Imagine 15 years ago, you sitting down with someone when you're 13 years old and trying to explain, I want the show to have hundreds of millions of subscribers. I want billions of hours consumed worldwide.
Yeah.
I want it to be like one of the biggest shows in human history, and I'm going to do it on YouTube. They'd be like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and back then, like, viral videos back then were like 2 million views. Right. And so, like, if you would have said back then, I want to get 100 million views a video, like, I mean, people would call you a lunatic. Like, you're just
delusional.
Like, not even delusional, like a certified, like, lunatic. Like, you're not even living in reality.
But now that you've paved the path and then you've shown people that it can be done, now you see
everyone has a lot more confidence to reinvest.
It's a real career path. It's a real career path. If you pursue it the way someone pursues learning how to play guitar and being in a band, like, do it the right way. I want to be a pilot. What do I have to do? I got to go to pilot school. I got to do the work. Go through the process.
Like, factually, or I mean, I don't know if it's factually, but it's like millions of people over the next 10 years that will, find a job, being a creator or working for creators, right? I know, I mean, dozens upon dozens of creators who are hiring dozens of people each. I have 150 open recs in my business. I mean, there are, these creators, hundreds of thousands of people are going to become creators themselves full time, and those creators are going to hire millions of employees over the next, decade or so. So even if which is what I see, a lot of people who try to become a creator who end up failing, they end up being phenomenal, partners or employees for other creators, right? And the space is growing so big, and there's just so much demand for it because not everyone who did stuff in traditional Hollywood, acclimates as well over here. So there's just so much, like, everyone I know just needs like 5 or 6 people. So it's like, it's a pretty useful thing. And it's like almost like the equivalent of getting a college degree, right? If you're a teenager now and you put in 5,000 hours, 500 iterations, you obsess over this thing, blah, blah, you come out the other end. Even if you don't make it as a YouTuber, now you know how to edit. Now you know how to tell a story. Now you have all these character traits, and some other YouTuber will pick you up in a heartbeat. Yeah, for sure. And this is the new Hollywood. I mean, this is really... I mean, literally now, four of the biggest films came from creators. It's like, not even like, it is like a factual thing now. Some of the biggest new IPs are coming out of them. Yeah. It's where all the viewership is going. I mean, when I was on this podcast last time, it was probably like whatever 1.8 billion people use YouTube every month. Now it's over 3 billion. You know what I mean?
Nuts.
It's growing, and it's not slowing down. It's growing more and more and more, which is what I said would happen, last time I was on here, and what I still believe. Like, I don't think these things have peaked. I think they're going to keep growing, and it's just what younger people use. They've never watched television, which is obvious to me and you, but but to some older people who still watch news and get it through there, it still blows their mind that they're like, they've never used cable, and it's like a 15-year-old right now, outside of watching an NBA game or an NFL game, has never used cable television. They've never even seen it. They don't even fully understand.
Wow?
They're like sometimes when I'm talking to a younger person, if I'm trying to get a gauge of what do you think of our new video, I'll just ask have you ever watched cable television, to see what they say, and they're like, no, and I'll explain to them that there's 2 to 3 minutes of commercial breaks, kind of like when you watch NBA, but instead of a sporting event, it's entertainment, and they'll be like, why would you do that? Why would you why would you put 3 minutes of ads every 4 minutes? And I'm like, well, that's just how things work. And they're like, why?
It's so dumb that they still do it that way.
Yeah. Well,
it really is so dumb.
It makes no sense. Yeah.
It makes no sense. You don't have to do it that way. They could probably make as much money through product placement and having an ad at the beginning. Yep. And doing it, and you probably get more retention. You probably get more views. No one is going to sit and watch CBS.
Well, what's even crazier is you would have to pay money to you'd have to pay $50 a month for cable to then have 33% of what you consume be ads, which is a higher ratio than when you watch YouTube, which is free. It's
crazy.
Kind of wild. And then you wonder why people are moving in hundreds of millions of droves over to this new form. That's just
yeah. And then there's podcasts, which is how many podcasts are there now?
Oh, millions, obviously, but how many successful ones? Yeah, obviously there's millions, but
I mean, the barrier to entry is the lowest. At least what you're doing is complex.
Yeah,
you've created a show. You have game shows. You have charity shows. You're giving away stuff. You have a bunch of crazy things you guys do. You have tasks. You have to plan it out.
Yeah,
podcasts, you're just sitting down. We talked for 5 minutes before we started this podcast.
Yeah,
we said hi. Sure. Hey, you look great. What's up? Good to see you. Give me a hug.
You gave me some caffeine to get me cracked out, and then we went to
let's go. And that's it. So there's zero preparation. Other than the preparation that the host does beforehand, but if the difference between that kind of preparation, the kind of preparation involved in one of your shows, is fucking immense.
Yeah.
And so the barrier to entry just to be someone who's a content creator, like a podcaster, is how many podcasts are there? Let's guess.
Ooh.
How many do you think there are, Jamie? Active podcasts.
Yeah, you have to. Active. How many have been uploaded this week? That's what
Active. Yeah, still posting on them.
Yeah, let's say
7 million or something like that.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I would guess active, probably 1 million.
Please put this. This is what I want to know. How many podcasts were active in 2009?
Ooh.
Oh.
Let's guess that.
Okay.
Put that into our AI sponsor, Perplexity. Perplexity probably has the answer to that.
Wait, they sponsor you guys?
Yeah.
Is that why you had the founder on recently?
Yeah, well, also because he's cool. I talked to him, and we started talking about ancient Hindu mythology. I was like, dude, this got to be a cool guest.
I have it downloaded. I haven't listened yet.
It's really interesting. He's a fascinating guy. We were talking about these temples in India, and I've been down these multiple rabbit holes about these temples that they carved out of a single 2009, there were 69,000 podcasts.
But that's
shit.
Not active. That just means 69 in the Apple's directory. So that means roughly 70,000 people had done one at some point. But then, I would wager a small percentage were actually active at the time.
Still, that's a lot. So that's when I started. So
now, what is it now? That I'm curious. Now in 2026, how many podcasts are there?
I bet 7 million.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to up my guess. I'm going to up mine to 10 million.
Worldwide.
I'm upping mine to 10. What does it say?
So since 2009, there were 69,000 versus several million shows today, depending on the database you look at.
Okay.
But what is the number, though? 4.5 to 4.7 million podcast shows globally as of 2026.
You know what I'd be curious of? How many people do content creation full time? I wonder what it
No,
says
that's a good question. Okay, let's figure that out.
Yeah, and
how many people
that
make
the same
a living?
time frame. Yeah.
Let's guess. How many people make a living doing content creation?
In 2009 versus now, I'd say 2009 maybe
0.
Yeah, or 1,000 or something. 5,000.
You?
No, I was a little kid. I'll say 5,000.
Okay, maybe 5. Content creation is like a very online content creation.
Yeah,
but the problem is that's like bloggers and
through social media.
2009 social media is just coming out, right?
True, you're right. 5,000 is probably.
So let's just not even think about that. Let's just think about today. How many people are professional content creators today? Let's guess. I say 25 million.
I would say lower, probably 8. Let's see what it says.
8 million?
Yeah.
That's probably more like it.
With the barrier to entry you're making me look up here is also tough. In the U.S., like taxpayers, people who are like filing, or just like kids
worldwide. How many
$5
people do content creation full time, right?
Yeah. Just how many content creators How many professional content creators are there worldwide? Just let Perplexity try to figure it out.
I will, but I'm just like, it's.
I don't know.
I know what it's gonna do. It's not.
What do you think it's gonna do?
It's gonna freak out and it's gonna say there's a lot.
Let's see what it says though.
But it's gonna say the same sort of thing. What does professional mean?
Okay, people that make a living. They pay their bills off of content creation.
It's not a.
I know it's not a great question, but let's just see what it says. Just out of curiosity, it might have an answer. How would it know, really?
Yeah, you don't file your
it could guess because it guessed there 4.5 to 4.7 million.
It's probably just going to look for any database online.
8 to 12 million professional content creators worldwide, depending upon how professional is defined.
See?
Roughly 200 to 300 million people identify as content creators globally in 2026. Holy shit, man.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Are they making money? Are they
right?
Not?
Yeah,
Are
this seems relatively like it got the gist though.
Yeah, it got it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a problem, Jamie. You were pessimistic.
No, but we don't have an answer.
No,
it's given us
300 million.
rough data. The rough data is 8 to 12 million professional content creators. 200, 300 million people identify as content creators. So out of those, which kind of makes sense that, a small percentage of them are going to be able to figure out how to make a living entirely off of it. One analyst estimates that about 4% of creators are professional, meaning they treat content creation as their main job and earn a full-time living. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That seems about right. And that's about right with kind of a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people try it and a small amount of people actually, like if you think about how many people, if you go to an open mic night in stand-up comedy and how many people are actively participating in open mic nights where they visit 1 or 2 open mics a week, and how many will eventually become professional stand-up comedians and make a living off of it, you're probably in the same range of 4% or something like that. Probably less.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But the interesting part is that number is going to keep skyrocketing year over year. I don't see any signs that any of this stuff is slowing down. And so,
especially if people see that this is a real path. This isn't a pie in the sky dream. There's a lot of.
I mean, at this point, if they don't see it, then I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm literally spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year, or investing hundreds of millions of dollars a year into content. And so, I mean, it shows what the upper bounds look like.
Well, you're really wise in that regard. Is that you spend so much money dumping it back into the business, and by doing that, your content is just so much more advanced than anybody else's. And that's such a big risk because a lot of people would say, I'm making all this money. Who knows when this is going to end? Let me squirrel this away and make sure that I've got money saved up forever. You're just like, fuck it. Let's just spend it.
Let's go hard. Well, it's what I used to call the creators would back in the day reach like 5 million subscribers. And then it was a real inflection point that I would notice where they'd either keep growing or that's where they'd start to teeter off because it's around the time where they'd start to make good money. And it's either like, okay, now they have a house, they have a car paid off. And like the ones that were really money motivated, they kind of got that security. And so that burning fire that was pushing them to do crazy things, like kind of started to die off. And like, it's like the Fermi paradox. Like for quite a few people, it's around that range is where you see like your favorite creators start to get lazy, upload less, not put as much effort and not care as much. And so, but yeah, I never really had any of that. I just like, I mean, like I probably talked about last time we were on here, I used to live in an apartment that I would share that was $720 a month, so like $360 rent. And I drove a 2006 Dodge Durango that cost a couple $1,000, and I just didn't have any liabilities. So I was just like, screw it, I'll just keep my lifestyle cheap, so I can just reinvest it all. And
God, that's so wise. Most people don't do that, and most people don't have the discipline to work as much as you do.
Well, and the harder part too is when you have the pressure of your parents and stuff. And I don't know, I'm weird. Like when my mom would. I mean, as sad as it sounds, like she would literally cry sometimes and be like, man, I'm just so worried you're going to lose everything. Like, what if these videos stop getting views? And I don't know what would come over me, but I'd be like, it'll be fine, Mom, don't worry. And I just like very calmly just say it to her. I wouldn't argue with her. I'd be like, just have faith. Like,
well, you were right.
I know, and we're great now.
But it's up to parents. Parents always worry about their kids.
Exactly. So I don't think it's like she was doing anything wrong. By all purposes, like she was doing the right thing. It's just, so you also have to overcome that pressure as well because there's so many forces around you where even if you believe in yourself, all it takes is one person like saying something like that puts self-doubt in you and then you're like, okay, But that's where I'm a big believer. If you really want it, just keep your liabilities low, like live below your means. And that way it's like, it's a little easier to be riskier if you aren't, have all these things you got to afford because what really changes if you fail?
That's definitely smart. But there's something happens also to people where just the constant grind of work, it diminishes their enthusiasm and they lose their perspective. They lose this perspective of, God, you're so fortunate to be able to do this.
Yeah.
You're so fortunate.
Exactly.
And people just get really complacent. It's so easy for people to just forget how fortunate they are to be able to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And
I'll admit it. Sometimes I get hit with that where, it'll be a late day of shooting and I'm in an airport and, a bunch of people are following me around and filming me. And I'm like, and you get those thoughts in your head where it's like, is this really the life I wanted? And you like start to like be like, oh, you kind of regret your decisions, but then you got to like snap out of it and you're like, okay, like this small subset of time, yeah, it might be brutal, but for the most part, I'm doing dope stuff. Like I'm in the pyramids, I'm in the Roman Colosseum, I'm doing like beautiful, amazing things, and I get to entertain and help people. And it's like, and you just have to, I think it's very important you're around people who like, if you have a group of people around you who, when you get in those negative thought loops, encourage it and help you spiral, then it's bad. But if you have people who are, and which, not everyone in my position has like people who are, willing to tell them how it is, right? Who are just like, bro, grow up. Like, it's fine. This will be done in 20 minutes and then, your life's pretty good. Like, you don't, it's like it's a weird thing. Like you really, cause like I've had some of those conversations with people where I give them the perspective and I can tell like they haven't had that perspective fed to them in a very long time. And you can like see it in their eyes. They'll be like, yeah, you're right. And it's like, yeah, you really need some like better people around you because you feel like you're like spiraling in these like really weird thoughts. But like if you look at it objectively, it's not as bad as you think.
That's the really difficult resource to acquire is being around positive people, powerful people, people that really get things done, and people that are motivating, and people that are really exciting. That's because so many people half-ass things. So many people do just enough, just barely enough.
Yep.
You're supposed to go all the way. You go 3/4 of the way. You know, so many people just they don't. But if you're around someone who really gets after it and really is enthusiastic and really is powerful and very positive, then it's contagious.
It literally is. It's infectious, and it makes something mundane honestly fun too.
Yeah.
And especially if you respect each other, then it just like it really compounds. And so important. Like even at this stage, like I say, for newer, younger entrepreneurs or people trying to be content creators or friend groups, everything, even at the stage I'm at, it really is because you are like you think, speak, talk, act like the people you're around. And like they say, show me the 5 people you're around the most, I'll show you what your future is. And it applies at every level,
Yeah.
And so you just
my
have to
friend
always be
Brian
conscious.
Simpson has a great saying. He says, you can't be your own boss and be a shitty employee.
Mm-hmm. Wait, elaborate on that.
So if you work for yourself, if like you're the one who's out there doing it, like so you don't work for anybody, but you also can't be a fucking lazy half-ass employee. He's like, you can't be both things. He goes, if you're gonna be your own boss, you better be a great employee. And I was like, oh shit, like you can't be your own boss and a shitty employee.
Yeah.
Like if you are gonna work for yourself, you gotta get some shit done because that's a very rare position to be a person that works for themselves.
Yeah.
Do the thing you actually love to do.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that's really powerful about this time, as opposed to any other time in history, is that there's so many conversations like this, where you get to hear from a guy like you who is doing that. So people, young people who are listening to this right now, they listen to you like, this fucking MrBeast is just getting after it, man. I want to do that. And instead of like hanging out with your friend who just gets stoned and plays Call of Duty all day and is always complaining about everything in his life, but meanwhile he doesn't do anything. You're like, that's not how I want to think and behave. But that guy is. And so you get examples outside of your own personal social circle because maybe they don't know a MrBeast. Maybe they don't know someone who's out there doing whatever they want to do with their life, but they get examples of it online and they can listen to these people talk and then get inspired.
Exactly. And I would assume you have a lot of parents who watch these that, have kids. And I would encourage the parents to like the last 3 minutes of what he just said there, like maybe play that for your kids. And I can like go on top of it to say, because I agree, I don't think enough young people get exposure to this kind of mindset that, it really is time, friend group, iterations on certain thing and consuming all knowledge available. It's those 4 things. Then do those 4 things and like you'll make it further than you can imagine. And like, there's outliers. Like this is what like skews a lot of people's perceptions. They'll find an outlier of like, well, this person became very hyper successful in this thing, but they didn't do those 4 things. And there's outliers everywhere. But if you look at statistically the average, right, the person listening to this, you're not going to be this 1 in a million freak outlier. Statistically, if you want to make a good income doing something you're not currently doing and you're not currently very knowledgeable in it or have much experience, it's just those 4 things. Find those people, put in the time, do. But it's like if you just listen to every Joe Rogan podcast, you're not going to be a great podcaster. So it's time plus iterations, right? You would have to go do an example of that would be do 500 mock podcasts while also consuming all of Joe Rogan's podcasts, right? So you're doing both while also consuming all knowledge available about podcasts, while also surrounding yourself with other people who want to be podcasts. And then yes, this podcast might have blown up in a year, but statistically that's not going to happen, right? You have to give yourself like the average might be 4 or 5 years, and some people like me take 10 years, and you just have to be so in love with the journey that you're cool with it. You're just like, I'm just going to do it till it works out, and it could be as soon as this. More than likely it'll be here, but there's a chance it could be there. And if that freaks you out and scares you, then you probably don't love it enough. But if you're like, well, I'll have fun while I'm doing it, then yeah, do those 4 things over the long horizon. And again, you probably won't make $100 million, but if you want to make $100,000 a year or whatever, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And just those sentences alone, for a young person, when they hear it, it opens like a third eye in their mind where they've just been told their whole life, go to college, get a job. This doesn't even exist to them.
Yeah. Again, it's like you have to be concerned about the process and doing a thing that you love to do and trying to get better at it. And it's like, if you say, let's say you want $1 million, well, you could win the lottery. You might win the lottery, but the odds are very low. Or you could find a bunch of people that work really hard, and what did they do? Well, they just kept working hard, and they figured out what it is they do, and they made money. Like, dude, that's probably more likely. Yeah. So just go in the general direction, and who knows, along the way, you might hit it quick. Something might happen really quick, or you might figure something out, and you might be an outlier. But the point is, the process is available. And the process is available to anybody. You just keep doing something, you'll get better at it. Be objective, be self-analytical, like recognize what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right, and get better at it and constantly try to improve. And just because something doesn't exist as what is your occupation, in a form from 2001 doesn't mean it's not a real job, and just because you can't tell people, if I told people at a cocktail party in 2009 that, I'm a podcaster, that means zero. You tell them today, they go, oh, amazing. Yeah. How long have you been doing that? It's a job now. Right? So how did it become a job? A job because people figured out how to make it a job, and they did it, and it worked. And so there's a process. So that process exists with virtually anything you want to do that somebody does for a living. Exactly. I don't care if it's a rock and roll star, stand-up comedian, novelist. There's a thing out there that you want to do that someone is making a living. But meanwhile, there's going to be people who's like, oh, the odds of you making it and that. Like, okay, is that what we're doing? Yeah. Are we just fucking playing odds? But the odds of you dying are 100%. So
once you adopt this mindset, though, then the naysayers go from being brutal to actually being good, because now the naysayers are what stop other people from doing the thing you're doing, which actually increases your odds, right? So once you get over the hump where, you reach a certain point where, someone, as you're going on the climb, like where someone going, this is stupid, this is unrealistic or whatever, where you just it starts to feel like, it goes from like something that makes you nervous and keeps you up at night to like, you don't even really care anymore because you've just heard it so many times. And then it's like, but there are people who hear it and they quit. And so it's technically a benefit for you. So I like to always, not always, but on a lot of things, I like to try to spin it as like a positive too. Like, this thing that's annoying, well, what's the positive side of it? And the positive is technically it'll make less people do the thing you're doing, which makes it easier for you. But
I guess it does, but I don't ever think that way. I just think if someone can do it, you can do it. And the problem is you have to make sure that you're not spending too much time doing it the wrong way. And so that's where it helps that someone's already paved the path.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you can get a mentor.
Here's the real question. So 2009, content creators, there's fucking very few of them, right? What are we missing? Like, what is going to be a job that no one sees coming, that's going to be like a content creator or a YouTube creator 10, 15 years from now?
Oh, gosh. I mean, it would have to be something with AI that you can even see now.
So what could it even be? Like, what would it be that people are missing that other people are going to...
It's changing so quick. Like, my brain can't even comprehend it.
Like, nobody even thought OnlyFans would be a possibility. That there'd be a large amount of girls that just show their naked body for a living.
Yeah.
I mean, and not even for a living. Like, most of them don't even get paid very much, but a lot of them have OnlyFans pages. Like some crazy number. It's like 10% of girls 18 to whatever have OnlyFans.
Is that in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a nutty number.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and an enormous number of people subscribe. Yeah, I think it's like literally half of American males have at one point in time subscribed to OnlyFans.
That can't be real.
I think it's like 150 million.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I think the numbers are crazy high.
I mean, where my head's going, if we're trying to predict the future, maybe it would be like AI filmmakers or like something like that, but I don't even know.
I mean, what are you doing there? You're doing
just recreating the
prompts
shots,
and making things. Like, yeah.
It's lame.
But what are we missing? Because the YouTube thing, nobody saw that coming. The podcast thing, nobody saw that coming either.
OnlyFans stuff's not new though. It's just changed the money.
Yeah,
just got the money
from
paid.
Normal ads to subscription.
Playboy.
What also centralized it in like where Playboy was always a thing where you had to get picked by Playboy. Now all you have to do is just take a photo of your box and put it.
There's always the local.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not centralized like OnlyFans is, where you go there and there's like thousands and I don't know how many more than that content creators.
Yeah, I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. But it's just such a fascinating world that we live in, where the number one most watched show in the world is yours. Like, you have the number one well, if it's on YouTube, then it's the number one most watched show, period.
Yeah, it's
in the known universe.
Well, right now
you're the most watched person in the known universe.
I opened it up on the way in because I figured we'd talk about the size of the show, In the last 90 days on just our main channel, it's like around 850 million unique people have watched a video in the last quarter.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, so we're doing around 4 billion views a month.
850 million people is so crazy.
Uniques too, because we did around 12 billion views in the last 90 days on just the main channel, and of those 12 billion views, like whatever, 8% of them are different humans. So it's like factually like 850 million. Like when I say that, people are like, oh, that's 850 million views, so like 80 million. But no, it's 12 billion views, 850 million uniques. So it's just like, it's crazy, man. And it's like, what's fascinating is you like 10 years ago, like even with cable or whatever, 20 years ago, 850 million people didn't use the same platform, right? It's like you wouldn't have even been able to reach that many people, even if you're the biggest in anything. It's like a very interesting time where essentially as internet usage grows worldwide, outside of China, so does YouTube usage. Because if you Google something, YouTube pops up, or now if you're Geminiing something, they'll eventually have YouTube. Or if you buy an Android phone, which most phones have their operating system, YouTube's there. So like everyone just, as you use the internet, you end up on YouTube. And so that's why, even though it's whatever, theoretically 3.2 billion monthly active users, I would be shocked if they didn't hit 4 billion in a couple of years and then keep growing. Like it shows no signs of stopping as the internet's growing. And so it's like to be number one on this platform that is basically mirrored to the internet is like, it's crazy. It's a really wild opportunity. And
because it's a platform where anyone can upload, the variety of content is extraordinary. Yeah. Because there's no gatekeepers. Like a lot of it's trash and nonsense, but there's so many interesting shows.
Yeah.
There's so many interesting shows on science, on cosmology, on history, on
100%.
Fill in the blank. There's so many people that just have a passion for a certain thing, and they made a channel, and now that channel all of a sudden has millions.
Our homepages are very similar, probably. I have so many like old history videos where it's like some old guy that's just breaking down World War II battle scenes or whatever. Agreed. And like they go as niche as possible, down to like this is like the most largest fights in history, and it's like a ranking of like the 10 deadliest fights, or like I would say like a third of my homepage is like just history videos.
What does it say here? YouTube uploads, users upload roughly 500 hours of video every minute.
Okay, not to be that guy, that's very outdated, I believe, but maybe, or actually, no. Sorry, so people watch 1 billion hours a day on YouTube, I believe. So this is upload. Never mind, this might be accurate.
So 500 hours of video every minute, 30,000 hours per hour uploaded, 720,000 hours are uploaded per day. Watching just one day's new uploads would take over 82 years.
Dang.
Whoa.
YouTube. Well, this is the 20 million videos uploaded a day that it's quoting. That was probably before Shorts. I bet you now that so many people are posting, Shorts, it's probably like way higher now.
That's nuts. But I mean, but what we're talking about, like having a platform like that where anybody can upload anything, it just makes the variety so intense.
Yeah.
Like there's anything you want to watch, any video you want to watch on nature, any video you want to watch on, you have a question about science, just put it in there. And there's some guy who's got a fucking 1.5 hour lecture on it.
Exactly.
It's nuts.
And that's the beauty, to tie everything together as like a bow. That's why you can learn anything, and you can do anything you want for a living for the most part if you allocate the time, because it's all there. There's literally on YouTube Harvard classes that are recorded. The same thing you would go into crippling debt to attend is literally there for free, right?
Yeah.
It's all there. All knowledge is available there. And if it's not easy, right? No one's laying out like how you're doing with the mothership. Here's A to Z on how you could become a Cam Patterson. It's not necessarily there, which is why it's hard. But all the ingredients are there. You just have to go collect it, put them together, and put in the work to get A to Z. Z being the career you want to do. It's because all the knowledge is there. Even I've literally gone on podcasts countless times and said everything I know about YouTube with no gatekeeping whatsoever. I've literally had people, where was it? I was in some gym. I think it was in LA or whatever, in between shoots, just working out. And a guy literally came up to me, and no idea who he is, but he's like, I have 3 million subscribers on YouTube. I started like 18 months ago, and like I just listened to one of your podcasts, and I just did like exactly what you said. And I got a friend group. I started obsessing over it, and and I did like these analytical things, and I just like quit my job a couple months ago, and I was like, no shot, this is like a coincidence. You're like tracking me or anything. He's like, no. And he's in gym clothes, sweaty. He's like, I was just running on the treadmill, and I just wanted to tell you that. Like, I literally just quit my job, and I'm making more money because I just listened to one of your podcasts. And I was like, whoa. And it was crazy. But I've had experiences like that countless times where like these things, which is why I'm so passionate about sharing it, like opens people's minds. And he's like, yeah, I didn't realize that was a possibility in life,
Well, that's you're coming from life with a perspective of feast, not famine. And that's the good thing about it, that there's enough opportunity for everybody.
And I have a contrarian view on that because a lot of creators do see other creators as competitors, but I've always been like if someone's doing well, I don't get threatened. I'm like, yo, let's just film together. Like collaborators, not competitors. Like there's literally trillions of views going around. If you think this person getting an extra, even if they crush it, billion views a year, has any impact on me, like you're crazy. It has no impact.
Right.
You know what I mean? People are sometimes spending 4 or 5 hours, a day consuming content, right? They watch their little 20-minute video, that they upload every 2 weeks. No impact whatsoever. And so I think and I was really the first person to kind of adopt that mindset, and more people are doing it now. But yeah, that's why I go and share everything, like literally to a T. And like I'll help people make, some people end up making millions of dollars that I've helped mentored, and I'm just like, yeah, it's just fun, because they always ask me like, why are you doing it? I'm like, why not? You know what I mean? What's the downside?
It's only positive. It's an abundance mindset, and that I think the internet encourages that, fortunately. Because television is the opposite of that. So television, the problem was there was only a certain amount of slots. So if the MrBeast show was on NBC, and then there was another guy who was on CBS, he might also be at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. You're like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, true. I'm not going to give him my secrets.
Yes, you would never. Yeah. But because the fact that YouTube is available literally to anybody, and the amount of people that are viewing it is so immense, it's an abundance. And you treat it like that, and it actually just makes you grow.
Exactly.
So it's awesome.
But it's also, if you share with people, they'll share with you. And there's no one who will, at this point in my career, be able to go tell me something that will make me 10% better. But there are infinite amounts of people that can make me a better storyteller, or better, at leader, or better communicator, or better at set design. And it's like, it's more about grabbing those 0.1% here and there and like adding them together. And so like, sometimes I'll give someone something that, might fundamentally change everything for them, but then they'll teach me something very small. And I'm like, oh, that's actually very useful. And if I retain it, I can see how, that'd be really cool on the set design, on how we could do a background, or like, hey, after X amount of feet, you don't need as much detail. So now we can put more time into like the detailed stuff up front. But, and sometimes I was being too particular on things really far. Like all these little things that you just accumulate over being around different people with different expertise. And you just have to you just have to some people don't see the value in that kind of stuff, but you can learn anything, or you can learn something from almost anyone. And I do believe that, because everyone has like different things and different experiences and stuff like that, especially as a content creator, because you're also making content for millions of people. So even just learning, what a normal person is going through, or what their life is like, is helpful for being able to relate with them and through the content, or make something that is interesting to them. So if you approach people like that, whereas like, I can learn something from you no matter who it is, it's also, I feel like not many people take that approach either.
Fuck yeah, dude. I think your approach is very valuable for a lot of people to hear, and very valuable for young people to hear. Because if they just follow those principles and just follow your passion and really be disciplined and focused, you could do a lot of things in this life.
Exactly.
You could be like Jimmy.
You could. Probably not. Statistically not. But could
Statistically
you be,
not.
Could you be a person with a couple less zeros and all the numbers? Of course.
Yeah, and also just be enjoying your life, because you're doing something you want. You're actually creating something.
Yeah.
And something you'd be proud of, and something that people enjoy. And that makes you feel good, that people are enjoying your work.
Yeah. And speaking of something you're proud of, so since the last time I was on here, a big thing I've been